Hello, my name is Cindy. I'm a certified hypnotherapist along with being a retired dental hygienist. Today's topic is people-pleasing and how to stop seeking approval through hypnosis. Welcome to the Hypnosis Wellness podcast, where we explore the world of hypnosis, meditations, affirmations, and its effects on individuals. Join me as I delve into a variety of topics related to these fascinating phenomenons and how it can have an impact on people's lives. People-pleasing can be a trap that many of us fall into, constantly seeking approval from others and sacrificing our own happiness and well-being in the process. But what exactly is people-pleasing and why do we do it? People-pleasing is the act of constantly adapting our behavior and opinions to meet the expectations and needs of others, even if it means sacrificing our own wants and needs. We do this in order to gain approval, love, or avoid confrontation. This can lead to feelings of resentment, stress, and anxiety, as well as a sense of losing our own sense of identity. So, why exactly is people-pleasing a bad habit? Well, there are several reasons why seeking approval from others can be harmful to our well-being. First, it can lead to feelings of resentment and stress. Constantly trying to please others can be exhausting, and it can leave us feeling drained and resentful. This can have a negative impact on our mental and emotional health. Second, it can lead to a loss of our own identity. When we are constantly trying to meet the expectations of others, we can lose touch with our own wants, needs, and desires. This can lead to a sense of confusion and a lack of direction in life. Third, it can prevent us from achieving our goals. People-pleasing can distract us from our own aspirations and goals as we constantly try to meet the needs of others. This can hold us back from reaching our full potential. And finally, it can lead to a lack of authenticity to our relationships. When we are constantly trying to please others, we may not be able to be our true selves. This can lead to shallow or unfulfilling relationships as we are not able to connect with others in a genuine and authentic way. So as we can see, people-pleasing can have serious consequences on our mental, emotional, and personal well-being. But with the help of hypnosis and a greater understanding of why this habit is harmful, we can start breaking free from the cycle of seeking approval and start living a life that is true to our own desires and needs. While people-pleasing can be a bad habit that can hold us back, it's important to note that there are also some benefits to being a people-pleaser. For example, being helpful and considerate towards others can improve our relationship and make us feel good about ourselves. It can also create a sense of community and bring people together. However, it is important to find balance and not take people-pleasing too far. Here are some tips on how to avoid overdoing it. Set boundaries. It's important to set boundaries and not let the needs of others take precedence over your own. This means learning to say no when you need to, and not constantly sacrificing your own wants and needs for the sake of others. Prioritize your self-care. Taking care of your own needs and wants is essential in maintaining a healthy balance. This includes making time for hobbies, exercise, and other activities that bring you joy and happiness. Learn to express your feelings. It's important to be able to express your feelings and needs in a healthy and assertive way. This means learning to communicate with others in a way that is respectful and honest while still taking care of your own needs. And also seek support. Finally, it's important to seek support from your friends, family, or professional therapist if you're struggling with people-pleasing. Talking about your experiences and receiving guidance and support can help you break free from this habit and find a healthy balance. As we can see, there are benefits to being a people-pleaser, but it's important to find a balance and avoid taking it too far. By setting boundaries, prioritizing self-care, expressing your feelings, and seeking support, you can break free from this habit and start living a life that is true to your own desires and needs. So, while we're at it, let's talk a little bit about codependency and people-pleasing. Codependency and people-pleasing are related in a way that both involve a pattern of behavior in which a person prioritizes the needs and wants of others above their own. Codependency is a type of unhealthy relationship dynamic in which one person becomes excessively preoccupied with the needs of others, often to the point of neglecting their own needs. People-pleasing, on the other hand, is a habit of seeking approval and trying to please others, which can also lead to neglecting one's own needs. In codependent relationships, the codependent person may engage in people-pleasing behaviors as a way of maintaining the relationship. They may do things for their partner that they wouldn't normally do for themselves and put their partner's needs above their own. This can create a cycle of codependency in which the codependent person feels a sense of obligation to continue pleasing their partner, and the partner becomes increasingly dependent on their behavior. In both codependency and people-pleasing, the root cause is often low self-esteem and fear of rejection. People engage in these behaviors may believe that their worth and value are tied to the approval of others and may be afraid of losing that approval if they don't prioritize the needs of others. Overall, codependency and people-pleasing can both be harmful habits and can have negative consequences on a person's mental and emotional well-being. Breaking free from these patterns of behavior requires a willingness to prioritize one's own needs and desires and develop a healthy sense of self-worth that is not dependent on the approval of others. Now, how can hypnosis help us break free from this pattern of seeking self-approval and start living a life that is true to our own desires and needs? Hypnosis can help us understand why we engage in people-pleasing behavior. By accessing the unconscious mind, we can uncover the root cause of our desire for approval and address it directly. This can help us develop a greater sense of self-awareness and self-esteem. Hypnosis can also help us develop a stronger sense of inner guidance. This means that we learn to trust our own instincts and desires instead of constantly seeking approval from others. With hypnosis, we can develop a strong inner voice that helps guide us towards a life that is true to our own desires and needs. Finally, hypnosis can help us reframe our thought patterns. We can learn to view rejection and criticism as opportunities for growth and learning, instead of seeing them as personal failures. This can help us break free from the cycle of people-pleasing and start living a life that is true to our own desires and needs. One of the great things about hypnosis is that it can be a powerful tool for healing the inner child. For those struggling with codependency and people-pleasing, this can be especially beneficial. Working with a hypnotist that specializes in inner child healing can help to address the root cause of these habits, which often stem from childhood experiences and past traumas. By exploring these experiences and releasing any negative patterns of thoughts and behaviors, you can break free from the cycle of codependency and people-pleasing and start to live a more fulfilling life. Now, I would find someone local to you if you'd like to work on inner child healing. I would do this along with conventional therapy, as opening up like that might require a qualified therapist. Hypnosis can help you to develop a strong sense of self-worth and to overcome feelings of low self-esteem that may be driving your people-pleasing behavior. By reprogramming your subconscious mind with positive affirmation and visualization, there's that word again, techniques, you can start to believe in yourself and your own abilities and to see yourself as worthy of love, respect, and happiness. As we can see, using hypnosis for inner child healing can be a powerful tool for overcoming codependency and people-pleasing. By addressing the root cause of these habits and developing a strong sense of self-worth, you can break free from these patterns of behavior and start living a life that is true to your own desires and needs. As someone who struggled with people-pleasing, I know firsthand how slippery of a slope it can be. When I first started out as a dental hygienist, I was young and intimidated by older colleagues and the dentist. So I went above and beyond to please them, even if it left me feeling miserable inside. This behavior ended up causing me countless issues with my stomach, nerves, and confidence. Despite being good at my job and working efficiently, I constantly had more patients added to my schedule and often skipped lunch breaks. It seemed like the dentist only cared about catering to the patient's needs and not the well-being of staff. As a result, I experienced burnout and was constantly hungry, made bad food choices due to time, or ate way too fast, and I was frustrated. Sadly, this discard for medical staff is all too common. I remember when my dad was actively passing away due to lung cancer, and the boss's wife actually asked me how long it would take and how long I would be gone. I literally felt bad I was missing work due to the pressure that I was put under. Now, if I could go back, I'd tell her where to get off. I've had to deal with so much chronic lateness among colleagues, which inspired me to do an entire segment on the topic to help those overcome that issue, which will be out soon. However, as someone who struggled with people-pleasing, I tried my best to do what I was told, even though it was eating away at me. Despite being told that things get easier as you age and become less, focused on people-pleasing, that wasn't my experience. In fact, it just made me angrier. I worked hard while others around me slacked off, but the dentist always seemed to take their side. At one point, I even worked at a place where these girls would jump out of boxes or hide in the corners to scare people for fun. It was disheartening to see these colleagues who goofed off and didn't take their job seriously get more recognition than those of us who worked hard to maintain a professional image. Eventually, after 25 years of being hygienist, I decided to quit. After I had some life-altering issues, which were predominantly fueled by the lack of being able to tell others how I really felt, I'm glad I snapped out of it. And then I found a job working for an endodontist who truly cared for his employees, and it was a refreshing change of pace. Even though I left that job due to the long commute, it was an hour. I left on a high note, and I have learned a lot about handling difficult situations. Thanks to NLP and hypnosis, they have just been a godsend. While I was working as a hygienist and educating the patients, I'll never forget the toll that people-pleasing took on me. I was just seen as a cash cow to my former employees and not a human being. But now I'm able to stand up for myself and take care of my own needs while still being considerate of others. Well, that concludes today's episode on people-pleasing and finding a stronger sense of self. We heard my story about struggling with people-pleasing for 25 years, and through my study of NLP and hypnosis, I've learned how to handle difficult situations and set healthy boundaries. I've learned also people-pleasing can be harmful and exhausting behavior, and it's never too late to make a change and find a stronger sense of self. I hope this episode has provided insight and practical tips for our listeners who may struggle with similar issues. Remember, it's possible to be kind to others while still taking care of yourself. So don't forget to tune in tomorrow for our special bonus hypnosis session designed to help stop people-pleasing and develop a stronger sense of self-worth. Thanks for listening to this episode of Hypnosis Wellness. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to the Hypnosis Wellness podcast and leave us a review. And as always, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram and YouTube.